Hello and welcome back to the Fort Estates YouTube channel. I hope everyone is well. I'm feeling positive. And welcome to Drum Tutorial 5. So in this video we're going to be following on from what we looked at in Drum Tutorial 4, which was 3/4 time signature, often referred to as waltz time. And we're going to be looking at 6/8 in this video. So that's kind of double 3/4. The 3 becomes 6 and the 4 becomes an 8. And I'm going to give an example, kind of contemporary example of a 6/8 time signature in a song. And that's going to be linked up on the video there at some point. And I'm going to give a practical example on the drum kit of the 6/8 time signature, which is going to be kind of like medium tempo, and then I'm going to give another example of 6/8 but played faster, and the accent's kind of going to shift from the snare and the bass drum to the hi-hat, and that's going to be what we call a shuffle beat or shuffle rhythm, which is used a lot in rock and roll, so kind of like classic rock and roll kind of like songs, and rhythm is generally shuffle. And I'll give an example of that, and that's a little bit more trickier because you have to have it's about hi-hat control. So you know your right hand and right wrist, you need a bit of it might take a little bit of a time to get the hang of that one, but I will demonstrate that as best as I can. So there we go. So we're going to be looking at 6/8 in this video. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so what is 6/8? Okay, so we've looked at 4/4 and we've looked at 3/4. So I'll count all of those out now on the hi-hat and the bass drum. And then 6/8, just to illustrate what 6/8 is. Okay, so 4/4 we have, which is the same for all of these time signatures. You have the bass drum starting on the 1. So 4/4 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 4/4. We know that one. 3/4 was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 6/8 is we count 6 in between each bass drum. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that is essentially 6/8. What 6/8 is practically. So how the bar works, or how the kind of cycle of the drum beat works in 6/8 is we hitting the bass drum on 1 as we normally do, and we count to 6 before we hit the bass drum again. So we count to 6 on the hi-hat before we hit the bass drum again. So with a snare drum, so that means now the snare would shift from where we'd normally hit it in a 4/4 drum beat. We'd normally hit the snare on a 3. We now hit the snare on the 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I did that wrong. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and so on. So it doesn't really feel, I would suggest, whereas kind of 3/4 feels very different, very sort of very different kind of movement to it from 4/4. 6/8, I would suggest, feels similar in terms of like movement, physical movement, feels similar to 4/4. So that is essentially what 6/8 is. So in the kind of like, so as I mentioned in the introduction, we're going to look at shuffle also, but we'll an example of that will come later in the video. That's essentially 6/8 for a kind of slow to medium tempo. That's that kind of 6/8 with that's how you play it on a drum kit for kind of a slow to medium tempo. So what we'll do next is we'll play along to a 6/8 track. So just a guitar track, which is 6/8 tempo, and I'll play along to that and demonstrate, how then 6/8 works as a drum beat when you're playing along to another instrument. Okay. Okay. So just before we play along to the track with the guitar on, just going to quickly explain a couple of things about the track and show you what drum beat I'm going to play, but a drum beat you could play in instead of that beat, which would be a simpler drum beat. Yeah, so I'm going to play my drum beat, which is going to maybe be a bit too complicated or not. I don't know. You can have a go at it, and then I'll just do a simpler version of that drum beat, and then we'll play along to the track. So first off, the track is going to have a 2-bar beep kind of intro, which we call a click, kind of a click track. And that is going to be using the meter, so the meter of the click track, which is the type of, rhythm, as we discussed in other videos, is 3/4. But we can use that with 6/8 because 6/8 is kind of like an extension or is a kind of like dragged out to 3/4, so it'll kind of work. They'll both kind of work with each other. So the click track is going to be going beep boop boop beep boop boop beep boop boop like that. So it's going to be, so it's, as you see, there's like beep boop boop beep. So it's like 1 2 3 1 2 3. So, but that will work with 6/8 because that's it's just a shortened version of 6/8. In simple terms. So the drum beat I'm going to play, I'll demonstrate for you now, and also we're going to have a bass drum cam so we can see what the bass drum's doing, which we've had in previous videos. So my drum beat is going to be along the lines of but we can. So you've got like 2 bass drums there in between each snare, but we can just simplify that to just 1 bass drum at the start. So on the 1, we can just do. Yeah. So there we go. That's the little brief explanation about the track. Right. So let's have a go at playing along to the track then. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that was the track there. So we can, if I just quickly replay it. So you could also do the simpler beat, simplified beat. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yeah, so we could simplify it with that. So as we say, we can't. So we're doing the the bass drum's on the 1 and the snare's coming on the 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, so what I'll do, as with the other videos where we've had a guide track, I'll put a longer version of that guide track at the end of the video and have a link to it in the description so you can jump straight to that. So there we go, that was a kind of medium tempo, kind of fairly straight in terms of arrangement on the drums track or drum beat to a 6/8 backing track. So I hope you have a go at that. Any issues with that, let me know. So next I'll have a quick look at shuffle, which is going to be a little bit more tricky because it might take a little bit of time to get the wrist action and control to get the desired kind of hi-hat action that we need to get that shuffle, unique shuffle sound. Okay, so I'll have a look at that next. Okay, so let's now take a look at a shuffle beat, and what I'll do now is I'll play the beat and then I'll try and break it down with the various elements, what's going on, and then I'll also play it along to the track that we've been using, that guide track, just to kind of show that a shuffle beat does kind of work with the 6/8 time signature. Okay, but the shuffle beat is classically used in rock and roll tracks from the 50s and 60s and onwards, and still used today in rock and roll and blues type stuff, and even in modern contemporary music. But okay, so here is a shuffle beat. Okay, so as you might pick up on that is what kind of the big defining quality of the shuffle beat is the kind of what's going on in the hi-hat, which is kind of like these syncopated 1-2s that are going on in the hi-hat. But if we talk about the bass drum and snare first, so we've got a pattern going on there, so that's basically like a 2/4 because you're going 1 2 1 2 1 2, so that's essentially kind of 2/4 really. It's like, which is, like a marching, you could say that's like a marching beat. And then we've got like kind of going on the hi-hat, so it's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah. So, if you put them together. So, the key is getting that hi-hat pattern and that technique working with the nice and steady and even, and get that, get that working with the bass drum and the snare. So that's what you might have to practice quite a bit here. Or you might get it fairly quickly. So, I'll try and, so I'll slow it down what I'm doing on the hi-hat. So going. So if I was going to play that on another drum, that'd be. So I'm flicking it. So I'm flicking it. So it's just a kind of little flick with the wrist. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So this is where we've got to use really got to kind of try and use the kind of loose free fingers. Yeah, that's where they really come into play, and you're using the thumb and the forefinger pivot. So this is why I've been trying to get the kind of instill the kind of the importance of holding the sticks in a kind of like a recognised proper way, because it's for things like this now that you'll be able to get the technique if you're holding the stick right to kind of do these kind of syncopated rhythms. Yeah. Okay, so have a go at that. Right, I'll quickly just play the guide track we're using and see if we can get the shuffle to work with that. Okay, so I didn't get it straight away there, but I've edited the video a little bit, but that's how it works with the with the 6/8 rhythm. So it sounds that's the different so we've got here in this video 2 interpretations of how we can play 6/8 to that to the same backing track. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I hope that's been of use and makes sense. Comment as usual with any feedback or any questions you might have. And until the next one, take care and bye for now.